Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo. You've tuned in to another live the report, and it's tech news and stuff. I am going to be competing with this printer. I started to print the scan that I did last night. You remember from Mando Mania, the box. I thought it was pretty cool art. I'm like, boy, I'd love to see that, possibly printed. And so I basically did just that. I made a model in Tinkercad and printing it. I'm printing an embossed version of it in 2 dichromatic filaments. I think that should turn out pretty nice, and it'll end up probably sitting on the back of a shelf, highlighting, what. Sorry, I was looking at my heart rate when I tapped my arm on the watch. I'm currently my heart's beating at 63 BPM. That's how exciting it is for me. 63 BPM. So I'm printing something. So when you hear the whirring and grinding, that's what that is. I can't really stop the print. It's in motion. I'm just going to kind of have to work through it, but at least you'll be able to see it. You can see the grinding happening, or you can see the grinding happening, and you can hear the grinding. It's not grinding. It's just extruding rapidly because it's trying to travel over a great distance on the print. So typically when that happens, it's got to work. It's got to do it at a much more rapid pace than maybe if it was just extruding a little here, there, here, there, here, there. It's doing it, and it's depositing as it's moving along moving along the print. For the lack of a better way of me putting it. You changed your name from Chazar to Ches Codes. All right. Good enough. I will try to remember that. Glendon is joining us tonight. Hey, Glendon.
Hello.
Man of many words.
As always.
You can never get a word in edgewise.
Never.
Never.
You've got to get up early in the morning to beat me.
Which I will not do. I will never get up. Well, no, I will get up early. 8 o'clock is early for me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Although anymore, 8 o'clock is not early. 8 o'clock is almost late for me at this point. We are broadcasting this live on live.pirillo.com. I have not rebooted the stream in about a day, hence the need to demux. If you see an audio sync issue, that is why. So this is the worst thing that you could ever do, when you're recording. Not a great audio setup, because of the synchronization issue, coupled with this combating a print behind me. So this is the best broadcast we've ever done, ever, clearly. All right, so we're gonna jump right into the news here, since we have a full screen, full deck. I'm going to take the scrolling headlines down, pop that over. ChatGPT, which has become very quickly my favorite tool to use for anything I can think of. Bar none, has been the best brainstorming tool I've ever encountered. I've been brainstorming names for a brand under which we can help enable the collaboration between creators, content creators, creatives, and technologists in the greater ecosystem. And I believe, I've come up with 3 possibilities, and everyone, of course, doesn't. There's always going to be pushback. No matter what you do, especially when it's something brand new and people don't have a context for it. But I believe I've settled on, at least for the time being, Coquello. Coquello, Coquello. And ultimately, it's not necessarily the name; it's what you do with it. And finding a good name is not always easy, not always simple. Domains are the word has been used before, and there's context, negative context, whatever it is. It sounds too common, and I needed something that rolled off the tongue, was simple. Wanted the .com. Won't be able to get the Twitter account, but I feel that we'd be able to figure a way past that if we find an alternative at some point in the future. No, I'm definitely not going with Fire. That is definitely been scratched off the list. No way.
Yeah,
Not gonna happen.
no fire.
What I could do is a play on the word. You know how it's Ted, T-E-D? I
Yeah.
should do a play and call it. I should just call it Chris. And then figure out the
You're
acronym.
edgy.
Chris. Yeah, what do you think?
It's brilliant.
I could do it. I could figure it out. I'm not going to do that. It's not going to be called
Right.
Chris.
Yeah,
are you going to Chris? What? That doesn't even make any sense.
going to Chris.
How would you like to be called Ted? How would you like that to be your name, right? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really. Coquello is the one that I feel out of all of them that we've brainstormed and thought through. And maybe there's a better one, and I just haven't ideated. But I've been using ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas. Right? Great brainstorming tool. So today they rolled out plugins. So now ChatGPT gets smarter. So they got two of their own, a web browser and a code interpreter that would allow and extend the power of ChatGPT. Initial first-party clients, initial third-party clients, or first third-party clients, Expedia, Instacart, Kayak, Klarna. I don't know, Klarna is apparently Open Table, still around, Shopify, Slack, Wolfram, Zapier, and others. So it's a veritable who's who. The fact that they got Wolfram incorporated here with their initial volley into plugins is pretty amazing. Not a big deal necessarily directly if you happen to be just a user, but if let's say you are a user and you want to bring your trip plans to life, well, now you can use ChatGPT in the Expedia plugin. Like this OpenGPT is basically serving up Siri's head, because Siri is like, this is what Siri wanted to be.
Yeah.
Basically. And what they tried. I mean, Google Assistant to a certain degree, but this is what they wanted Siri to be. And so, yeah, Apple really missed the boat. And now there's no chance. Not with investment from Microsoft, no chance in hell.
Not at all. No, there's no way they can catch up with this.
Well, or at least acquire, right? I mean,
right. No.
And which is probably what they're going to. And Siri was an acquisition. And Siri for years has been garbage. Absolute trash. One of the reasons why I would find it very difficult to move from Android to iOS, even if I could look past all the other massive bleeding head wound performance issues with the UI, I feel that, and I don't mean the UX, the user experience I feel is, the greater user experience is in question, but specifically how elements in the user interface are really sloppily put together. Even if I look past that, ultimately saying, oh yeah, but I'd have to use Siri. I mean, like, as the default personal assistant. Now, if it was like ChatGPT, see, this is where Apple is probably going to have to do something. So Apple would be smart, and I'm not saying that Apple is. And to a certain degree, Google would be smart to basically say, all right, well, your personal assistant, you can kind of do this on third-party devices because you can replace Google Assistant with Bixby, for example. I don't know if I would, but if Google and or Android or whatever had the option or opportunity to do something like, for certain tasks, I would probably look to use ChatGPT, or I wish there was a native ChatGPT app, because I wouldn't use it for everything. I've used it primarily for brainstorming or quick needs, but having these types of integrations, I feel is going to make it that much more powerful. So expect to see a lot more power coming from ChatGPT. If you haven't even started to use it, you are completely missing out. I felt it the first time I used it. I'm like, this is a game changer. It remains to be that way. Yeah, Bard, Google's Bard. It's fine. It's okay, but it's no ChatGPT.
No,
even though ChatGPT is like a mouthful.
It's the way to go.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating that that's what it's called, but I guess that's just That's what we're going. I don't think they were expecting it to. I guarantee they weren't expecting it to explode.
No.
So this is the browsing plugin is actually interesting. So it basically they describe the experience of browsing items in context to the way it was handled previously. The model would basically say, well, the training data didn't include enough information. But now there's the ability to incorporate more contemporaneous information. They've also developed safety considerations, which is very, very important. There's a code interpreter plugin as well to get a better breakdown, helping with that aspect of using ChatGPT. So yeah, they're making it better and better and better and better. And so I if you haven't worked this into your flow, you owe it to yourself, because this is especially when it's something that can be where it can be used. Yeah, no, you definitely Ches, you brainstorming is where it's at. 110%. That's where it's at.
I've even got my wife to use it.
My wife.
And my wife for recipes.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully it gives accurate recipe information.
So far, it has.
All right. So now that was that bit of news. I see Seated on the back, but I'm not sure is he set?
It looks like his mic is unmuted, so he's probably ready.
Hang on. Let me take Mike down, bring in Seated, but he's got a black screen.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Let me jump it one more time.
All right. While he is doing that, this is something that's we knew was coming down the pipe. Twitter is going to be revoking legacy verified badges in April, leaving only paying subscribers with blue check marks. So yeah, I've yet to see a value in paying for Twitter. Now, if it does turn out to be the case that they say that when the feature is absolutely known to get your tweets out to more people, yeah, I would probably pay for Twitter. And I have no problem saying that at all. I'm not on the extreme saying no, I'll never pay for Twitter. I've never said that. I said it has to provide value to me to pay for it.
Right.
But for me, the value would be, well, what I put out there, I would want to get seen. So is that that's not at least currently, that's not a direct value in having Twitter Blue, and everything else they've offered in Twitter Blue, quite honestly, has not been that interesting. Editing tweets was kind of a messy situation when I first tried it, when Twitter Blue launched. I was like, yeah, this is not worth paying for. And all the other things like save bookmarks or save read later, all these other features, just not really not that compelling for me. At $5 a month, it wasn't compelling, and definitely not for $8 a month either. So I'm not sure if I will ever pick up a badge again. Calling it verified is asinine. The only thing you're verified to have at that point is $8.
$8 a month to give them.
It. That's all it's verified.
Yeah, until there's a return on your investment, even if it is only $8 a month, what's the purpose?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not getting anything out of it, if it's not going to accelerate your tweets any quicker or at all,
exactly,
then it's just asinine to even think about paying it. Looks like CNOOP is here.
Yep. Sorry, I was doing a quote tweet. I'm dunking them. I dunked Twitter. Haha, I'm probably going to lose my blue check early.
Oh, no.
At this point, I'm like, okay, sure. So you just saw me tweet. We were talking about when you jumped in there, that ChatGPT having plugins. CNOOP. So I popped back there. Do you use ChatGPT at all?
No,
for anything?
No, not yet anyway.
Oh, and I already pre-apologized for my printer not grinding. Grinding is the wrong word. extruding loudly. I'm scanning for any other headlines that I see. Not a lot, honestly, today. And I kind of got caught behind a set of smaller things that I needed to do, so I wasn't able to effectively stack. But Cubomatic found this one, which I find kind of interesting. Hyundai pledges to keep physical buttons in its vehicle for safety reasons. And I even though I'm like a fan of digital, I'm a huge fan of like digital readouts. Yeah. I actually don't mind the physical buttons.
I don't either.
The tactile buttons. I feel like
said about that for sure.
Yep.
Well, it's like, because when you're driving, you can't be distracted with something that doesn't have that. I sometimes I fumble around like, okay, I'm looking for the whatever it is, and with the touchscreen, you've got to be like right on point. You can't do that, and unfortunately, cars are not, if I can use this word right, ironically enough, not driven by voice. So you can't. It's not. I mean, some cars do have voice integration, but it's questionable. Right, it's not the best technology.
Yep.
But you can't replace the console. You can't replace the dash. You can't replace all these features with voice at this stage. It's not possible. It's not practical. And so for anybody who would push back on this, you get used to it. I'm like, yeah, but there's something about that physicality and to be able to touch it, to know what you're touching, especially when you've got to keep your eyes on the road.
No, I agree. That tactile feel, I know that you can get a tactile feel now out of, touching a screen. But for me, not being able to have to look at it, if I could reach over and touch a dial and turn it, or a slider or something, or just a physical button. Yeah, especially for safety reasons like they're noting. I'm okay with the buttons and the analog. A mixture between the two is perfectly fine with me. I don't mind the buttons.
A lot of times with a physical button too, it's kind of like, well, for lack of a better way to describe it, they're braille-like. Like they'll have certain bumps on them, so
tactile.
You know what you're touching, right?
Tactile.
It's not just tactile. Yeah. So that when I'm fumbling around like on my steering wheel, I can feel what is the shape of a button, what's volume up, and what ones are for my cruise control and that sort of thing, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if there's any way right now that they can do that with.
Not easily. Voice is that's the next leap.
Yeah.
And it's not even close to reliable yet.
Nope.
Well, it shouldn't surprise me, but it does surprise me a little bit that car manufacturers are still kind of doing their own thing when it comes to software, and it sucks. Like I have my father-in-law and my dad. They both bought brand new vehicles, and we bought a fairly new Honda, and it's just the what comes built into your car's system right now is nowhere compared to what it could be, right, if it was given to better software developing companies, right? So like I know for a fact, like with our Honda, I'm sure Lisa is always just using the CarPlay anyway, right, with a lot of stuff like that. But what she can do for the radio and what app she can use that way, but if you're just to use what comes with it, they're not great.
Typically, that none of that surprises me. Shifting gears, because we're talking about cars. It is Thursday. There is a brand new Epic game available, Chess Ultra, and I believe one of the add-ons is also free. I could be mistaken. Maybe oh, here we go. Chess Ultra Easter Island Chess is a free add-on. So I don't know. Might as well, I can grab it. So if you want a nice chess game for your PC or Mac, let's see here. No, it's just Windows. This might be it for you. It's a beautiful chess game. Stunning.
Yeah, it is really pretty.
Like that's just, and the fact that you can get different styles of pieces is pretty cool. And then speaking of free games, World of Warships is also free, and I believe this has been free, but there's an add-on if you don't already have it. Another free one for this week is the starter pack from Ishizuki. So a premium battleship that you get 11 camouflages. So if you play World of Warships, then the add-on is here. So again, every Thursday, Epic has a free game for you to add, and this chess game specifically would normally retail. See, it's in my library, but it's $13, which is real affordable to begin with. I mean, it's a chess game, so they knew that they'd be competing, with a lot of options, so they probably couldn't price it too high. But still, that's $13 that I wouldn't have to spend. And if I, let's say, get the itch to play, and I'm like, I want something that looks really cool, I can play Chess Ultra because now I have the code tied to my library. That's
good stuff.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart move if you are inclined to play chess. Now, I've been playing solitaire. Sometimes I'll pull it up. I don't know. They're those simple games that I can pick up, put down, or they tend to be what my where I want to go with things. So certainly the more casual games over anything else. Scanning through the headlines here, because again, even when I was checking the news, when I check the news, I'll email myself articles that I feel would be good to cover, and I'm just not. I did not find a lot of them today, unfortunately. Despite some days are good, some days are not so good. It really, I mean, I can't control the news. It's always kind of unfortunate. Or a lot of the news.
You can't control the news?
It's not what I do.
What?
You'd think, but it's definitely not what I do. I like reading the news. I like scanning for the news, and I really appreciate the flood of news that possibly comes in. But I kind of tune out when the news is all about like startups and so and such and such got funded and that kind of thing. It's not, to me, it's not all that interesting.
Speaking of news, I normally don't watch local news, but I was over at a friend's house earlier today. This coincides with tech. And I heard our local news talking about AI, ChatGPT, and how it's affecting work already. On the news station, yes.
In what sense?
Writers, journalists, other factory workers are talking, and they were, going around to different businesses, and the factory workers were chiming in and saying that they were worried about how AI is going to possibly, affect their jobs once it trickles down into that area. And it's one of those, I didn't hear the entire article or the story, but it was basically how in a short of time, you can already see how AI is going to affect jobs at every level.
It's getting to the point where you won't be able to detect whether or not something is plagiarized.
Right.
You won't. You won't. Like, that's not. That ship has sailed. So, and it's going to get quote unquote worse. This was an article that basically, to summarize it, saying that these models, these large language models, they're not a fad. LLMs aren't just the biggest change since social, mobile, or cloud. They were the biggest thing since the World Wide Web. And on the coding front, they're the biggest thing since IDEs and Stack Overflow, and may well eclipse them both. So, this to me is, the ultra rare $1 trillion money volcano, right? and I not knowing everything that these people might know, right? Not having the expertise, behind me, especially as far as development is concerned, I can still see dams breaking, right?
For sure.
This being this is his approach. The author's approach is specifically through the lens of what programmers might need. And if you talk about programmers, for the longest time, it is still to a certain degree, Stack Overflow. So I ask you this: what's the difference between asking Stack Overflow a post on Stack Overflow and asking the same question to ChatGPT? What's the difference? What is it? What's the difference? Nobody? Really? There is no difference apart from a human being might have replied versus a machine replying. Both of them can get things wrong. So, Stack Overflow as a business model is dead. Framework announced something today. Laptop 16 promises the holy grail of upgradable graphics. They've got like a big butt. So if you like big butts on your laptop, you, my friend, are in luck. At GDC, they announced this. So everything's swappable. You can even pull out the way they've designed it. So the graphic card, I believe, pulls out of the back. There you go. Pulls out of the back, inserts in the back. Pretty wild. Framework is actually pretty much the only modular system that is out there that's shipping.
I would love to see this model taken up by more than one company.
Yeah, I can't imagine it though. It just seems, it's a good idea, and I'm not saying it's niche, but it's in many ways it's workable, it's usable. Here's where it would take off, if and when this takes off. Like if they find that it's impacting sales, that's when Dell takes it seriously this time. That's when other manufacturers take it seriously. But until then, it's too much. They're trying to prove the market. But with the market's proven, then you end up with another problem. Then without interoperability, are you buying modules for this one? Are you buying modules for that one? Are you buying modules? Now, ideally, at some point you would ultimately have to standardize those modules, much like you'd have to standardize ports if that were to become a thing. Right now, they kind of control the system, but the framework's biggest headache would be someone else gets into the game, because then it's like, well, I'm buying all these components, but this keyboard is not compatible with that modular system, which is fine when you live in an ecosystem, but not fine when you're just, the idea of going modular is that you don't have to replace everything to replace one thing.
Right.
So
I can't see this going anywhere. And the reasons being on this is
it's been going somewhere though.
I don't know how far it will go. Knowing and seeing what the laptops look like from work after about 5 years, screen's not working. My coworker actually just had to give his up. He had it for last 5 years, and it was time to refresh for him. But the keyboard half wasn't working anymore because the battery was swelling in the back. Some people, depending on how they are banging them around and stuff, it usually. If they made this more rugged, but I think by the time people are ready to kind of upgrade a module, they're more apt to upgrading the whole thing. And how much is that module going to be? If it's dirt cheap, then maybe it will go somewhere. But if it's only going to save you like $50, $100 or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I see your point. I really do. I would love for it to take off though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they've talked about this a long time ago, with cell phones too, right? Because they're just like, this is awful. Like, now they make them pretty good for being recyclable and that as well. But, at the time when they were first, we were starting to get in that wave, and they're realizing, oh, geez, cell phones are worse than computers. Like after about 3 years, that's considered ancient and you want to upgrade. And then they were going into, landfills and stuff like that, right? So I don't know. I kind of very skeptical on that will really go very far with that.
Yeah.
That people want that.
I get it. It's a quality assurance thing after so long.
It's not a market of like, you know, if you're a PC builder and you're constantly upgrading stuff and putting new cards in and whatever, like myself or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like
me too.
that, you know, you're going to be doing that with a PC, but laptop users are a whole different type of user, right? Yeah, you might have the odd gamer, but how many true hardcore gamers are actually gaming on laptops with gaming laptops, right? And will be like,
What
I
I've
want to upgrade my
found-
graphics card with pulling out this module in the back. I don't see it being a big market.
Is I've had friends in the past who have used a laptop as kind of a gateway into PC gaming. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it might be like, well, I want to get into gaming. Yeah, well, look, how about you? And I've had it happen before. I would say, well, how about you build a PC, or you let me build a PC for you, and we can do it together. And they're like, no, what about this gaming laptop? That way I don't have to worry about anything, and it's still cheaper than a full desktop. A lot of times, and you're right, you know, people use it as a stopgap in between, you know, hardcore gaming, if you want to put it that way, and consoles. So yeah, I mean, you're right. It would have to prove itself for longevity and
I just think, and I don't have these stats, but I feel like the more people that are using laptops is for actual type of work, right? And those people, I don't think are going to really be caring about swapping modules. So by the time that they're ready to do something with the laptop they want a new laptop.
Right, but to me, at least, the GPU makes sense, because that's the first thing that people will want to upgrade. You could have a processor inside that laptop that is an 8-core processor, and if it's adequately cooled, it's going to be a viable processor for, you know, 4 to 5 years, right? So say you buy a laptop, for instance, yeah, like you go saying, or Bunny, you know, if you got a 4090 in 2 years they come out with a 680, then you could swap it out. But again, to your point, like you were saying, how many people are actually gaming on those laptops? I'm not sure.
I think it's.
I
really
would love
think it's
to
going
see
to be
the
a
option,
small
though.
market. I would like to see the stats on that, but I think it's a small market.
Yeah.
As much as and don't get me wrong, I think it's great too. I think it's a cool idea, but I just don't know if there's a lot of people that like. There's a huge need for that, and if it's just gonna, I don't see it as taking off. We've lived in a world for way too long of disposable, and you know, who knows? Maybe with the way that things are going up and stuff, we could get back to like building stuff where it's like you have it for life and you just keep throwing parts at it.
Yeah.
But I mean, when your washing machine goes nowadays, or your stove or your microwave, unfortunately, a lot of times you're tossing it if because the repairman will come in and they'll give you the charge of already just looking at it, and then just saying, well, you know, if you spend a couple more $100 on this, you can get a brand new one, and
right.
and I can't guarantee how long with this part, or I can't get the part at all, kind of thing, right? So with so many things are like that, computers are right up there with that too, right? So
yeah,
unless we can change that whole idea of going back to our roots of where when we made something, it was made to last for a lifetime, and you threw parts at it and you continue to fix it. But we're in a disposable world right now, and I don't know. I think that.
So Diana has a Chromebook, right? And I just got it. I swear to God, I just got it a few months ago, and she uses her tech, and it's like, I'll put it this way. One of the keys on our keyboard is now missing, and the screen has a giant crack in it. And so I am not willing to turn around and get another Chromebook and spend another, because I got that one for like $300. So I'm not willing to spend another $300 knowing full well in another 6 months, same damn thing gonna happen.
Right.
So I'm like, it just doesn't make it. But if I could swap out that keyboard for $30, $50, whatever it is, I'm like, okay, swap it out. If I could swap out that screen for whatever it is, it would make, that's where it would make a lot of sense, that modularity.
And how far are they going to go with that? Is that what they're looking to do? Like everything? Like you could change it
as much
screen,
as
you could change
possible.
the keyboard? Yeah.
As much as possible.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, for her, it would be, or people like her, I feel like it would make a lot more sense than for people like us. Because I'm with you. Like we like our microwave we had for years, and it was like, you know, and it was fine. It wasn't really, there was nothing that was inherently wrong with it. It's just there were certain smells you just couldn't eliminate, and I was like, all right, we just get a new one. Like it wasn't broken, but I believe in kind of staying ahead of problems. Our dishwasher on its
Sure.
way out. And that was a couple of years ago. Our refrigerator not quite on its way out, but definitely it had issues where it was kind of showing its signs that it was on its way out. So that got replaced. And we had to actually repair the refrigerator to stave the, you know, to keep ourselves from having to upgrade to a new refrigerator as long as we possibly could. Then washer dryer, same way. It was like it has just been a while, so we were looking for higher efficiency stuff, and so that's ultimately what you know, what drove that upgrade cycle. But for something for like a laptop, Diana could have benefited from a potential. I'm not saying I would spend as much on a framework laptop for her, but you know, if you're talking about something that's, you know, can you spend $300 on, but are able to piecemeal replace these components that, you know, could break, wear and tear, there's a greater chance of that device having, you know, longevity. But at this point, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it may maybe with inflation and that'll be a driver. I think the only way that this can take off is that it's going to be huge savings for people. It's like, wow, I'll get that much more boosted of it, and it's only going to cost me that much. But if it's going to be comparable, even within about like $100 difference, to be like, well, you know, I'm doing this, but if I add a little bit more, I'm going to get a whole brand new one right from scratch. People are going to still apt to that, right?
Well,
So
I mean,
it's got to have the right price point for these things. Like
and
keyboard, they can make it cheap, but to replace a screen or to replace, like, you know, a GPU and all that, I don't know.
So like,
I don't know what that price point would be, right?
If you look at the animation, right, these are like optional laptop modules. Like, you know, it's not just a traditional laptop. You can swap it out. Let's say you're a DJ and you like, you know, mixing, but you got, you know, but you also need to take a computer. This is where modularity becomes a little more useful, you know, than you know, what you might find in on a typical, or from a typical laptop. So having that flexibility is, you know, maybe not for those who are just, all I need is a keyboard and a trackpad and a screen and I'm good to go. You know, for someone who's looking for, you know, an experience that doesn't quite exist in the marketplace, you know, that they want to basically build for themselves, that's where something like this could be useful, handy. So like, it's kind of like, oh, well, my laptop only ships with USB-C. I wish I had a mini jack, an audio, you know, 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Well, here you go. There's an audio jack. Of course, it says you need to give up one of the 6 expansion card slots, but if you want to have, if you're looking for that jack on your laptop and all the other options are gone, that again is where modularity can help. So like, you know, an OEM, you know, they're going to sideline, you know, some of these ports, these legacy ports that you need, and you want a faster laptop and you know you need to upgrade, but you need that port. Well, with something like this, it's relatively inconsequential to build, you know, that component, right, that port, to integrate with the system, so long as you've got the system in place. So there are use cases that aren't for this, and I'm not saying it's going to take off like, you know, bat out of hell, but I feel there are use cases that are that modularity serves in a way that nobody else is being served, or no one else is serving, certainly.
It reminds me of in the olden days of laptops, right? You know, when we had, what was it, the PCMI slot on them, and then you know, you could upgrade, and all of a sudden your laptop now has an Ethernet port, or it has a modem, right? Those were the two very popular ones at the time, right, before they started actually coming standard on your laptop. But to have something like that where you put the card in. The only thing is with those at the time is like they were thin little cards that you put in, but then they had big honking dongles a lot of times coming out of them as well, right? Depending on the port, which is fine. But yeah, something was lost in that when we went to, you know, this is what you get with your laptop, and really there's no expansion other than if you're going to plug in this external device to like the USB port, right? That's kind of
Right.
what killed the PCMI slot. Yeah, I mean, I see the use cases there. I just whether or not there's enough people to make that profitable for them or not is a different story.
I mean,
That's interested in that.
I think they're neat.
You would think that would be good for schools too.
Schools are pretty hard on equipment,
right?
Though, so yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
If you have a school, you know that you have a student who's assigned a laptop, and they spill something on the keyboard, and the keyboard goes bad, then you could replace the keyboard, or they didn't have adequate cooling on it, or the screen breaks because they drop it, or I would think that schools, because of the wear and tear that they would see on their equipment, could be one that could benefit from this.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That would be actually a really good use case there, because like my partner Lisa, she works in a school, and she's always telling me about kids dropping things, and they've got a lot of tech that just gets trashed. Like their iPads are a big thing for she works with special needs kids, so they have specific really good applications for those special needs children and that, and but a lot of them are just like iOS or Android type of things, right? And so what they usually are doing is that they're finding like the best big bulky ass case that they can stick an iPad in, because it's just like if you hand it to them, kid will chuck it or whatever, right? So, and then smash crack, right? But yeah, for modular base for that, I could see that actually being something there too, especially when it's like government funded type of thing with schools, right?
Exactly.
They're on a tight enough budget as it is for that stuff, so if they can find a cheaper way to repair what they already have, I can see that. Yeah.
Here's something. All right, actually, I had another one up here before then. Lego 2K, video game where you can build a custom racing car.
Oh yeah, I saw
that's cool.
Earlier tonight.
Yeah, it's launching in May. Open world racing game. This might be kind of fun. I feel I can handle a racing game without getting motion sick. Maybe. That
looks very cool.
Yeah, and it's an open world, so I may be playing this game.
It looks like it. Well, with Lego, it'll be even better, because if you're gonna bang into something, Lego blocks are gonna come off your vehicle and stuff. That's gonna gonna be cool with that, right? Because it reminds me of like they did a Hot Wheels one a couple years ago.
They did on Forza.
Yeah, and it's fun. So I'm not sure if they're doing kind of like a Lego Hot Wheels / Mario Kart type style thing with that, or how that game plays, but I'll probably pick it up. Not when it's full price though. I think it's pretty pricey coming in for full price.
I think I'd pay to do that. I mean,
I would too, especially since it's an open world.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, $59 on the PC. Consoles,
it'll be go on sale within a short little while anyway, right?
There's an awesome edition and awesome rivals edition for like twice as much.
Probably comes with DLC.
That's what I was about to say. It's probably just the DLCs, right?
Hey guys, how many times have you bought Super Mario Brothers?
Oh yeah,
on every platform, right?
Yep.
Over 1,000 pieces available to build vehicles with. You can.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Power-ups, of course, available for multiple Lego lines. So, what I think would be cool, I'd like to see Jedi basically build a car that she races, because she likes playing the Lego game. I think this would be really neat for kids. 2K Drive. Yeah, I mean,
That's cool.
it's PC.
The big kid in me is already excited about it.
Oh, I'm
I
excited.
was-
I
yeah.
can't believe I didn't hear about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean,
No,
they have
I caught it
generator,
just.
right?
It's funny you brought it up, Chris, because it was literally about an hour ago. I was looking on Steam with stuff, and then I was kind of seeing, well, what other games are coming out here just soon? And then I saw that, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I need that one.
So I think the last one I got, the Lego game, I can't play because I got motion sick.
Oh, the Star Wars one.
Yeah, the
Oh.
Star Wars. It just took one turn, and like I can't. As much as I would love to do this and play it, Star Wars and Lego, I couldn't. So that was like basically money thrown away. Jedi kind of played it, once or twice, but don't have it up, constantly, and she's usually doing 1,000 other things. I'm not gonna give her a PC. So yeah, it looks like I'll be loading that up on the PC and playing it and streaming it. I'll be streaming some Lego car building racing stuff in May. So we'll become officially we can then officially become a Lego brick stream. Is that
Yeah.
then at that
Yeah.
point when everybody's doing that?
Race
Maybe.
each other with their custom cars.
This one I didn't send this to myself, but Pebble. Remember they used to have that little smartwatch.
I do.
Oh yes.
I guess they're going to be working on an Android device, a smaller Android device. It's not going to. I don't think it's going to be amazing, and I don't think it's going to be a flagship. Because remember, Pebble. The value of Pebble was the fact that it was just very affordable. So
Right.
I'd expect a very affordable, decent, experience, but the device will be geared toward people who put a phone size at the top of their priority list. So it's all about the size, right?
Right.
And you may pay the price for that. But if the size matters to you and you don't want a bigger phone, if you don't want what they used to call them phablet, and I'm fine with the phablet. Give me a phablet. I'll take the phablet any day of the week.
Me too.
But if you're looking for a smaller one, that's the Zen phone, I believe.
So they're talking like the size of the old 3GS, right? And smaller.
Pretty small. But the fact, I mean, they may be very, very well banking on nostalgia, right? So it's going to be crowdfunded, which may be challenging. But if you wanted a smaller phone, if that's all you need, and you want an Android device and it's all about the size, then they're giving you that option, putting that together.
Isn't it funny
as
how
I get older, I need a larger device just to see the screen.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But the raw specs should be fine. Software optimization probably would leave a lot to be desired. Sounds more like a hardware move than a software move, even though like a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 possibly being used. It's the fact that they're talking about the size over everything else. It's all about the size.
I think we're all old enough to remember too that this pendulum has swung both ways, right? When cell phones first came out, they were big and bulky, and then it was like, who could get the phone small enough and more portable, and then they were getting ridiculously small, right? Like
my Kyocera flip phone back in the day.
Yeah,
like the bomb, because it would fit in your little coin slot of your jeans.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you got the Blackberries, and then the smartphones and everything, and then it was like, okay, how much bigger can we get it now, because the screen real estate means something, right? So it's like we kind of swing back and forth with this one.
People that had the Blackberries because they had the external keyboard right underneath the screen, and now we just have the virtual keyboards on the screen.
Yep.
And the screens are 7-8 inches. But I'm with Chris. The crossover between a mobile phone and a tablet is where I'm the space.
Oh yeah, give me a phablet any day of the week.
They haven't even really begun. They're throwing pasta up against the wall. They're still ideating.
I mean, a S22 Ultra with my OtterBox is huge, but I've sat on it more than once and haven't broke it.
Well, that's a good thing. We talked about Loop yesterday. Yeah, we did. There's one more thing, at least. This is something that Basically, association between infant screen use and cognitive outcomes. That's not good. That's not good at all. Actually, you know what I want to do? Give me a second. So we got the introduction, we got the methods, participants, exposure and measures, outcomes. What I was going to do is see if it talks about screen time and attention. Basically, it's bad. It's not good to hand your infant a smartphone. What I'd be curious to know is how much of this text could I copy into ChatGPT? Of course, it's just a study, right? It's not. I mean, it's science, and it's always going to evolve. But further efforts are urgently needed to distinguish the direct association of infant screen use versus family factors that predispose early screen use on executive function impairments. So it's a shot in the dark. More research needs to be done, but screen time can have an impact. Absolutely can have an impact. So they are studying. The infamous they.
Mm-hmm.
This is specifically infant screen use. It involved 437 children.
At what age did you let Jedi have screen time?
She didn't really. Honestly, it was. She didn't spend a lot of time on it until recent years. Like really, just the past few years.
Yeah, and it's the same way with my kids.
Yeah, and it's not. And screen time is like she'll game. She has unlimited Minecraft. She has unlimited learning. But the games and the videos are limited. But unfortunately, and this is another thing that Diana and I go around and around on, is that she will use Diana's laptop and like this has to count towards screen time because it's just too much. So this is where it's a problem.
When you see teenagers destroying their house because their parents locked their cell phone or took it away, there's a bigger problem there.
Yeah, I'd say.
Well, that's pretty far gone. If they're a teenager and they're acting like that, that's kind of got to go back to how you parented them as they grew up.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
Epic's got a new motion capture animation.
Oh, I watched that yesterday.
MetaHuman tech demo. This is at I'd assume GDC.
Yes, it was. And this was all done on an iPhone, mind you, using Unreal Engine 5.2 or 2.5 or whatever it is.
That's flipping cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually have it rendered in literally seconds with a phone. They actually brought someone up on stage and did an actual video motion capture of it in live real time and then rendered it on a phone.
MetaHuman.
It's getting good fast. Fast.
I was just looking at the strides that they're making with music creation. It's insane what they can do already. Like they're thinking there might actually be a couple hit songs that are all AI created within like the next 6 months.
I believe it.
Like that will hit the charts.
I do
believe
too.
it. And
it's not a human singer at all.
But what's going to happen is it's going to get released. People are going to love it, and then it turns out that everyone loves it, but it's AI. And then,
and then
I
the
hope
RIA
they
is
reveal it that
crazy.
way too.
Yeah,
I hope they reveal it that way too, so that we're not biased. Because I think people might poop on it right away, right? Oh, that sounds like computer. It's just just release it, say it, and maybe just announce it as someone's name or whatever. Like see how far it goes in the charts, and then just say, aha.
That's what's going to happen.
I hope that's the way that they'll release it, not just tell you right up front, because I think people will just instinctively try to poop on it, right?
Almost guaranteed. Almost
guaranteed. It's not going to be T-Ping's, auto-tune.
Yeah.
Which I still don't get how that became such a thing.
Different sounds, different options. Is a different tool in the tool belt.
Well, machine learning as a whole is awesome, plus also dangerous, just in my opinion. I mean, I used it last night to take 48 video segments that I had and stitched them together, and I'm doing a presentation next week for work that I needed a video that's under 4 minutes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to take me all weekend to edit it, and I found a piece of software that stitched everything together in less than 5 minutes. I was done.
That's the kind of stuff that I love to use.
Yeah, get back to your weekend, right? 5 minutes.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I did a peer review on it. They're like, "How did you do that?" I'm like, "Well, I found a piece of software that I did." These segments were anywhere from 15 seconds to a minute and a half because I wanted to capture what we were actually doing and not say, "Hey, look, I was up till midnight doing platform upgrades and it took 4 hours." I compressed that whole entire 4 hours down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Mm.
It's not fast forward stuff. It is.
And it's stitched together well, I take it too. There was no
yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
it flowed well, right? So that's the big thing.
And, graphics cards are getting plugins and updated drivers now for machine learning and AI to correct video. I mean, you're watching the VHS video, right? You can see that noise on the bottom, the tracking, and every once in a while. Imagine pumping that through an AI and it could fix it in real time.
Yep.
See, I'm still in the uncanny valley with this stuff. It's still very uncanny valley to me.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I mean, it's amazing what they're doing, right? Obviously, I'm not. That this isn't a demo in toppling the uncanny valley or basically bridging that chasm, but I mean, it's certainly what they've done is like incredible.
It made me a little lazy, Chris. I had a task that I wanted to accomplish in Windows PowerShell and also in Linux scripting. So I asked it specifically to create a script that would do this in both languages. Within 5 minutes, I had the skeleton code and it worked. I found some errors, so I was a little more specific, and it saved me hours.
That's great.
Hours. Now, is that complacent?
No,
I don't know.
It's the way it's going to be. Period.
Yeah. I mean,
It's the way it's going to be.
We were already doing that to a degree, but it took time still, right? Like, because let's face it, who writes a PowerShell script from scratch? Someone's already probably got some sort of demo
they're
code
all over
out
the
there.
internet, right?
So you go to the internet and you search around, you find kind of what you need, and then you massage it from there, right? But now you're taking even all that legwork out, right? And just saying, you just write it.
Well, and because I asked it to do that, that now becomes part of its ecosystem. So if someone asks similar, it can say, "Hey, this other user's verified that this is accurate."
Yeah, so you're only getting even better coming out of the repo rate.
As this sound, ask it to write a bubble sort in BASIC for Commodore 64, and it will. It's not the fastest because it's BASIC, but
still,
it's I'm like blown away. And I worked with a team in the office that does a chat bot for customer facing tools and so forth. Same type of framework where they have to teach it. If you ask about this, then what's your response? But it learns based on the customer's questions to deflect the human to getting involved, so you have a level 0 support. Just like press 1 for English, 2 for Spanish. You want an automated response, press 5.
Yeah.
Transformative.
Phone systems have gotten pretty advanced that way. Like I know with our phone system with our call center and that, it can hear if someone's in a queue and somebody's cursing because they've been on for a while, and that we can have that so that it adjusts, so that maybe they get bumped up in the queue because they're obviously frustrated and that kind of thing. So it's actually listening to that kind of stuff, right?
We're just gonna have to start cussing every time we're put
on
hold.
That's what I kind of said. I'm like, hey, you want to get up in the queue? Maybe you should just drop a few F-bombs while you're on hold, and maybe
I'll never have my mic hot if I'm on hold with the customer service, because I'll say service, customer, and then I'll start speaking gibberish. I'm sorry, we didn't understand that. Let me get a human, and then it's someone that can't speak English.
Yeah, but the problem is then it profiles you too, right? Like with ours, so then it's like
Oh,
handled
kid you
differently
not.
because you've been noted in the past to be very aggressive in whatever kind of lingo they use.
So one of the biggest internet providers and cable TV providers west of the Mississippi, which people love and hate. I was in their office paying a bill, and I kind of leaned over the counter, and there was a flashing red flag next to my name, and it said "problem customer."
Oh dear.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I
Oh
flipped
yeah.
a lid and said, "You want to see problem customer?" I said, "I'm in public. I'm not going to be embarrassed. You get that off of my account right now."
Yeah. If you've ever done anything customer service in the past few years, for sure you've got some sort of profile out there of you. And they're
Yeah,
even
I'm on the service side too,
Yeah.
being in IT. But yeah. Hey, and
Wow.
Hugo, here's what's interesting is PowerShell Core and Linux is blocked by an IT policy, but I can do stuff in Bash or I can do stuff on PowerShell. I can't cross it for whatever reason. Sorry, I don't want to take over your convo.
No, it's all good. That was it. I mean, I've run my course. That's all that I was able to pick up here.
I do have some deals.
Yeah, great.
Let me share
Lynn,
my
you're killing me
screen.
because I've spent so much on Amazon.
Hey, as long as you're going through our links.
Yeah, just use our links.
Yes,
That's all
so
I ask.
I got 11 Funko Pops from your post from last
Nice.
week.
Well,
Good for
I'm
you.
sure I put some employees at Amazon's kids through college already from all the stuff I've ever bought on Amazon.
Dang it, Glenn, and he just bought an Elgato internal stuffer card a month ago. Go ahead, my friend.
All right.
What do you got for us today, Glenn?
All right. So I may have to drop somebody out. Well, no, I can actually share the screen now. Can you guys see it yet?
No. If you're doing it through OBS, here you just have to. There.
There we
Oh,
go.
you're sharing your screen. Yep.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So the first one is a power supply. Thermaltake Tough Power GF 850 watts gold, fully modular. 13% off right now. You can get that for $139.99. Has a 10-year warranty on that. So take a look at that. That's a very good warranty on a power supply. Normally they don't last 10 years. So if you've got a year or a 10-year warranty on that, that's saying something. So if anybody is in the lookout or looking out rather for a power supply, this could be something that would work for you at $139.99. Normally $159.99. And they do have other options available, not just the 850 watt. They're all on sale, but of course your percentage will change the higher up that you go. So for instance, the 1,000 watt out. Oh yeah. They've got some big ones out. So like the 1,000 watt power supply right now is still really good at 10% off at $179. So if anyone is in the market for a power supply,
Cool.
I'm going to go ahead and switch it to the next one now. All right, there we go. All right, so the next one is the XFX Speedster. It's a RX 6950 XT, which was the top of the line GPU for AMD until they released the 7000 series. Right now, this is an amazing price for a lot of GPU. 28% off, $664.99. So if you are out there and you are in the market for a GPU, I can attest to the 6000 series GPUs personally, because I own a 6900 XT. This is a step up from it, and it is a great GPU for 1080p, 1440p, and some 4K gaming. So if you are in the market at $664.99, this is a steal. And going along with that, the next one that we have up here is the AMD Ryzen 5800 8-core 16-thread unlocked desktop GPU. 52% off right now, $213.63. This is a steal. I know I just said that about the GPU, but if you're looking to build a PC right now, it is the time, especially with the AMD, where they just released the 7000 series GPUs and the 7000 series processors. I have a 5950X in my system and it runs flawlessly. This is on AM4, so motherboards are readily available for it. At $213.63, this is a bargain, and you would be hard pressed to find something that was any better for the money at this price. All right, we've got one more here that I'm going to pull up. And this one is one that Jeff made reference to just a few minutes ago. And this is a great price also. Elgato CamLink Pro internal camera capture card with 4 HDMI inputs. It can do 4K at 30 frames, 1080p at 60. This is 36% off right now. Normally it's $249.99. You can get this for $159.
It's an awesome card. I own it.
So I have got several friends that own this card. Cenup says that he owns the card. This is a heck of a deal. $159. So you're paying basically $100 and $110 off of normal price. So 36% off. If you do need a capture card, I recommend taking this deal because you're going to be hard pressed to find anything better for this price.
Yeah, and Elgato still got it for $250. So there you go.
Yep.
Pays to shop around, right?
Yes, it does. And again, all of these are in Discord. Affiliate links are posted with each one of those. If you do decide that you need or want any of these products today, it would be awesome if you use that affiliate link.
You're also tweeting all these on the Locker Gnome account.
Yes, I am. I have started tweeting these on Locker Gnome. So if you follow us on Twitter, then you will also see the link and the tweet there available too.
Cool.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I don't have anything else that I wanted to cover. Deals is usually where we dovetail everything. We'll keep the mics open for everybody to continue to chat about this, that, and the other thing. But we can wind down TLDR right around an hour. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We are streaming live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, typically talking tech. But, very often you might see me doing something else, and maybe you won't see me at all. But the cool thing about this particular experience is anybody is able to join, do something geeky on screen. And right now we are overflowing with geeks, like literally. So like the people who are doing something that's awesome. Thank you very much. We need to add someone who's doing something. So I'm going to have to unless Jeff, are you going to be doing something?
I'm going to bounce, guys. I'm going to go grab some dinner.
Cool. Thanks for being here. Thanks for popping in.
Thanks,
Happy to have you on the stream. Anytime. It's always good to have a variety of voices, and like I said, sometimes the more the better. Especially when it comes to talking about the day's trends. I love you. I appreciate you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the force be with you always. We'll see you later.